With strong signs pointing toward a looming military strike against Syria, Secretary of State John Kerry issued a stinging indictment.
What we saw in Syria last week should shock the conscience of the world. It is undeniable.
Kerry flat out accused Syria of slaughtering civilians with chemical weapons and then trying to cover it up, betraying a global moral code.
This international norm cannot be violated without consequences.
It was an unmistakable message that echoed from the State Department to the White House.
This violation has to be taken very seriously.
Ever since last week's suspected poison gas attack in Syria, the Obama administration has been consulting with allies and drawing up military options to punish Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad for crossing the president's red line warning against chemical weapons. The leading option, U.S. officials say, Tomahawk cruise missiles aimed at destroying command and control targets in Syria, as well as chemical weapon launchers. The administration wants international approval, but with Russia on the UN Security Council and against a Syria strike, the U.S. is consulting with both NATO partners and key Mideast allies.
If there is any action taken, it will be in concert with the international community and within the framework of legal justification.
There's no shortage of models for military action, from the NATO-led airstrikes against Libya 2 years ago to Kosovo in the 1990s. But just last month, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Martin Dempsey, warned a strike on Syria could get messy, saying in a letter to Congress, should the regime's institutions collapse in the absence of a viable opposition, we could inadvertently empower extremists or unleash the very chemical weapons we seek to control. Over the weekend, former Secretary of State Colin Powell urged caution.
I am less sure of the resistance. What do they represent? And is it becoming even more radicalized with more al-Qaeda coming in? And what would it look like if they prevailed and Assad went? I don't know.
But after last week's images of horror out of Syria, the president's tone seemed to shift in an interview with CNN.
I think it is fair to say that as difficult as the problem is, this is something that is going to require America's attention and hopefully the entire international community.
Arizona Senator John McCain said it's time to act.
If the United States stands by and doesn't take very serious action, not just launching some cruise missiles, then again our credibility in the world is diminished even more if there's any left.
As for consultations with Congress on a strike, House Speaker John Boehner's office complained the White House had not been in contact about any potential military action. Then hours later, the Speaker's office said the White House had indeed been in touch, but said there was very little substance in the phone call. Jim Acosta, CNN, the White House.